Ontario. Lake Erie. Lake Huron. Lake Michigan. Woo! Woo!
Lake has been the bane of my existence. Woohoo! Look at it out here. Perfect. So calm. This is awesome.
Here we are, Whiskey Fireside Chat number I don't remember, and we should not be doing this inside because the pandemic's kind of like calming down a bit. However,
I'm
we're
outside.
all traveling. We're all traveling because it's that time of year where we're out paddling, and so we thought we'd do a Zoom thing. Because gas is expensive and everything else, which you guys found out, we'll get to in a minute. I'm doing the cheap on the whiskey. I'm doing Delwinnie,
Delwars?
something like that. I'm at Christine's right now, which is a different backdrop because her place is a little fancier. I actually got a fireplace. It's hot.
Woo.
Behind me. I have Sean and Derek from Paddle Adventures Radio Podcast.
Paddling.
What? Paddling
You did so
Adventures.
well earlier.
I know. All right. Paddling Adventures Radio Podcast.
It's okay. It took you 5 years to figure out what my name is, so I'm okay with it.
That's right, John. I remember that, John. All right. All right. So you guys have a great podcast. But a couple of years ago, I think it was Sean came up with this crazy idea. You guys are known for your road trips, especially Sean. I've been on road trips with both of you. They're like, whoa, they're crazy. Let me out of this vehicle.
You can't buy entertainment like this. What are you talking about?
Oh my Lord. Sean listens to Iron Maiden. Derek, you actually don't say too much. You just sleep most of the time. But but all of a sudden, Sean had this great idea that you would actually go and visit all the 5 Great Lakes in North America, 5 Great Lakes. Do it in one day. So Sean, because it was your brainstorm idea that just bubbling out of your skull right there. Why? What were you thinking?
I wasn't. I was Google mapping, which is my downfall. When I go into Google Maps, I tend to start going down rabbit holes and searching all these places.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? Like, why don't I do something different? Because that's the big thing is people get stuck, going to the same places all the time. I wanted to do something different. You had just done that Southern Ontario trip. So I'm thinking, well, let's do some Southern Ontario stuff. Well, maybe we should cross the border. What's just across the border? And then it just sort of mismatched to, maybe I want to go to Superior again. And then like, well, what if I do each of the Great Lakes, spend a couple days at each, then all of a sudden it's 2 weeks. I don't have 2 weeks in time. Well, what if I do a day at each place? Well, it's still a week. Well, maybe we can do all 5 of them in a weekend. Oh, we're going that far. Why don't we just do all 5 of them in a day? And when I get ideas like this, I just, like they say, throw it up the flagpole, see who salutes it, right? So I have 2 types of friends. Some are going to look at me and go, I don't think so. Have another toke of whatever it is you've got going there. Call it a day. Other people go, ooh, where do I sign up? So I sent this idea to you, Kevin, thinking if anybody's going to be on board, it's you. And you didn't answer. It must have been 3 to 4 days. And I'm thinking, okay, Kevin's sitting there going, what's this guy smoking? And then all of a sudden I get a message back from you going, okay, so if we can get sponsorship for a car and maybe some gas money and I'm like, okay, so Kevin's in. And so we got that far and then COVID hit.
Yes.
Right. COVID unfortunately put a kibosh on it because the border closed. We had stay-at-home orders and that sort of thing. So that got put on the burner for a year. And then we're thinking, well, let's revisit this issue. And the border was open with a major amount of restrictions, and then it was closing, and then we could go free wherever we wanted to. And then it was, no, you guys got to stay at home. At one point, we were saying, well, maybe we'll get the Canadian side's one done, and we'll call up John Van Berger, our foreign correspondent, and he can do Michigan on our behalf.
No, I remember that point. Your idea was for him to be on the other shore, just waving at us.
Yeah, and Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, and then he would River. He would paddle that portion of the lake just for us. Thank you, thank you. We moved. That would be a funny scene.
Yeah, I mean, these are the things you envision all this stupid stuff, and then you try to put it into real life. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you're like, okay, I'm glad that didn't, because that was just way out there. This year, with everything open, I have a lot of stuff later in the year, summer and fall. So I figured I got to do it June. I threw out the weekend after Father's Day, which just so happens is National Canoe Day, right? John Van Berger was going to drive across the border. So it'd be John, Derek, you, and me. The canoe has been such a part of our history of this country that it became the #1 wonder of Canada.
And number two was actually Sean's beard.
It was. It was.
Yeah.
So yeah, in 2007, the Canadian Canoe Museum says, well, if the canoe is the first wonder of Canada, then let's make June 26th forever and furthermore be known as National Canoe Day, where you will take your canoe, you will go down to the water and express your love for paddling.
And that was great, but the date was really good, except actually I couldn't go because my daughter's going to university this fall, so I needed to get a job to get money, so I couldn't go. John from the United States couldn't go. I don't know why. He had some health issues, I guess.
Yeah, got a sore back he's dealing with.
Or he really couldn't stand both of you. But it ended up just become you and Derek going, which actually, to be quite honest, I preferred. I think that was the better choice because you guys are the hosts of Paddling Adventures Radio podcast. And so I think it was really good that both of you went. But I talked to you guys before the show. It was never an idea for the show. It was just a crazy idea. But really, it's a good idea for the show.
I was just looking to get out of the house. And so when we were in Sarnia, we met a fellow that was coming off the water named Bruce. And we told him about what we were doing and all that. And he says, what a great idea. And I said, yeah, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be at home remodeling my bathroom. So.
Okay. All right. So Derek, set this the scene. You guys just live outside of Toronto, and your first lake was Lake Ontario, right?
Yep.
So just before midnight, you arrive where, and what did you do?
So the plan was to hit all 5 Great Lakes within 24 hours, and so we started downtown Toronto, and we hit the water at the Canoe and Kayak Club.
Harbourfront Canoe and Kayak Center.
Yeah. So Harbourfront Canoe and Kayak Center. So we parked, and it was kind of surprising. We were expecting, hey, there's 2 guys in a dark corner of the harborfront, and it's like they're stealing canoes, but nobody bothered us. We had tons of people going by. Nobody questioned it. So anyways, we loaded up the canoe, lights. We had bow and stern lights on because we didn't want to get run over by all the party boats. And so we paddled out, and it was a first for me. It was amazing. So to be out on Toronto Harbor on Lake Ontario, to look in and see like the Rogers Center and and CN Tower and the lights reflecting off the water, it was amazing. So we were out there for about, 45 minutes to an hour, paddled around, dodging party boats and listening to all the music and listening to all the people screaming downtown and all that stuff. It was pretty cool. It was really cool. It was a first for me.
In town.
What was that?
Apparently the Dixie Chicks were in town.
Yes, at
The Budweiser stage or something?
yeah, the Budweiser stage, yeah, exhibition place or something. That's what somebody said, but we didn't hear them. We heard the party boats. Yeah.
That's funny. It's funny. So it wasn't just like you didn't just put your foot in the water and say we touched the
no.
Great Lake.
No.
You actually did a good paddle.
We paddled, yeah. We risked our lives. There was party boats cruising around and rock music blamming, and it's like, oh, don't run us over. It's dark. We have bow stern lights, so we didn't get run over. But it was fun. It was amazing. It was so what was neat is when you pull away from shore, the hubbub of downtown Toronto kind of fades away. We're out on the water. It gets quiet. You can hear party boats in the distance. But the whole city lights up in front of you. It was amazing. It was quite the experience. It was the first time I have been on a canoe down in Toronto Harbor off Lake Ontario. It was really cool. It was very exciting for me.
Wow.
And the water was glass.
I'm surprised that Dixie Chicks didn't join you. Like
I know, right?
If I was the Dixie Chicks, I would want to join you. All right, so then you throw everything back into Sean's
Truck. Yeah.
You did bring your truck.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So then you went to Lake Erie, and I'm guessing you went to Port Stanley because that would be the cool place to put in, right?
Yes. So we had to pick. Well, Sean he created his dossier and he planned out the trip and everything was like. But it was Port Stanley was a great point of access for Lake Erie. And so we got there a little bit early. So we had to wait in the dark for the sun to come up because we wanted some sunrise photos.
And
and
this is all... You had breakfast. Sean, who cooked your breakfast?
We got a buddy, Grant Brower. Now, Derek did the meanest link through Algonquin Park with Grant a couple of years ago.
Oh, that Grant.
That Grant.
Yeah.
Grant's still talking to you, Derek?
He is. Oh, he is.
Okay.
It was fantastic. He made this Mexican taco breakfast for us with what was the salad he made?
Pico de Gallo.
Pico de Gallo. Oh, it was amazing. So he was rocking it. So he came out of his van when we got there. He had been he baked us cookies at 3 a.m. He met us at about 4:30 a.m. And so it was like these fantastic cookies. And so we chatted with him and he got some video of us. And then when we came off the lake, he was making us breakfast. And it was like, oh, this is amazing. This guy was rocking it. Like you could see him bringing stuff out of his little Volkswagen camper van. And he was like cooking up stuff and flipping stuff around and mixing stuff. And as he finished with stuff, he was putting it away. He was like, professional, total pro. It was like blew us away. It's like, oh my god, this guy knows what he's doing, right? It was a fantastic breakfast.
But I can imagine then you probably were like, okay, let's just stay here for a couple of days. We're having a good time. But then Sean said, no, Iron Maiden on in the truck. We got to go to what was the next one? Lake Huron?
Sarnia on Lake Huron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarnia Lake Huron. Blue Water Bridge. Yeah.
Well, we had picked now. When I picked the destinations, I wanted something that stood out at every destination. I mean, we could have just I could have gone down the street and hit Lake Ontario.
Exactly.
But, there's nothing to see down at Rotary Park in Ajax in the middle of the night. So I wanted to see something cool. I wanted downtown Toronto to see the lights.
Yeah.
I've seen them before with a kayak because I've been out kayaking in the middle of the night down there. Derek's never seen it, and I know how beautiful it is. I wanted the sunrise at Port Stanley just to get that beautiful sunrise.
Amazing. Yeah.
Blue Water Bridge. I've been across it many times, but I've never seen it from the water. And the water is so blue.
Yeah.
So Point Edward Range Lighthouse is this little marker there. I picked that spot, which turned out to be absolute garbage. You couldn't get in. But Derek did see that about 500 meters down the road on the other side of a marina was this massive beach. So it was just a quick little 2-minute journey. We launched from there, went on out onto Lake Huron.
Well, that was what, Cassandra Beach or what's it called?
Yeah, what was that?
Carabois.
Okay.
Carabois.
So you had to deal with, I'm guessing there, nice blue water, bit of a current.
Yeah, right out of Canada Beach.
But you probably saw a lot of motorboats and some tanker.
Oh yeah, there's so many fishermen on the water. Like they would, so it's a St. Clair River going to Lake St. Clair, and the water was flow out of Huron, and so you see the fishermen zoom out, and then they float in very fast. It's like, why are they floating so fast? It was quite the current. So they would come in and then zoom out, float in, zoom out, and so it's like, we have to go out in that. So we did paddle out. We did have a battle so once we got out into it, and Sean's trying to get some video, and it's like, dude, we're getting sucked down the river. We have to get to shore and kind of snuggle on the shore to get back out of here, and where the current's less, right? But it was like wicked current. Like we were battling the paddle. It was like pull. It was wicked.
Once we got close to shore, it was much easier.
It got better. Yeah.
And then you had to have the biggest adventure of all. You had to go to the United States of America.
I know. I haven't crossed the border in like 3 years. So I kind of, at the time, I didn't think much of it. But when we crossed the border, it's like, oh my God, I crossed the border. They let me in.
That was one of our biggest, our two big things on the trip. Our biggest worries were we weren't going to be allowed in. So our trip was cut after 3 lakes. Or they weren't going to let us back into Canada, because one of the two. Because with everything pretty much dropped, it seemed too easy to get across the border again.
I know,
right? Like we just handed our passports. We told them what we were doing, and the guy goes, "Have fun."
You had one of your biggest adventures from there, because it was a long haul after that, because you went to Lake Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
When I was looking at where to go, there is one spot, like I say, I wanted something really cool to see, and Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. It's these massive sand dunes and everything, really steep, and they put a warning. What is it, like almost 2 hours to climb back up, sort of thing?
Yeah, if you go down, it takes 2 hours to get back up. Warning: don't go there too late at day.
Yeah, so I'm thinking this is going to be awesome to see this, but just south of the dunes is a place that you can get in, you can launch from, which is easy peasy, and then you just go up the coast and then come back.
Yeah.
We got there, and there was like 4-foot swells happening.
Yeah, there was high winds. It was like, oh no. This whole thing is over. We're done. We're not going to do this. It was like there's like rollers coming in. There's waves crashing. It was crazy. It was like, oh, I should be surfing this, in a canoe. But I noticed that every 8 to 10 waves, it would go flat, and then it'd come in for 8 to 10 waves, big crashing waves. And so I think we made 2 attempts. The first attempt we failed. The canoe filled with water, and there was like about 100 people looking. They're playing on the shore, kids and everywhere, and so they're it's like, oh, we're being watched.
Big waves, we're soaked. I get seriously getting rough over there. Okay, you want to head straight in then? Yeah. Face calm right now. Let's turn it. All right, ready to ride him in.
Do we want to do this? Do we want to embarrass ourselves? But we were very much convinced that this is what we're going to do. We have to do this.
Well, was there a moment where the audience on the beach, the beachers, just sort of looked at you and say, "Oh, no, they're Canadian. They're okay."
Woo! Turn a little bit to the left. There you go. There we go.
No, that wasn't until afterwards. They didn't know we're Canadian until when we came back ashore. They said, "You guys are crazy."
Hey, Derek, you look wet.
I am a bit.
Were you just playing in like massive swells?
I was.
Oh yeah, well, we're doing this thing. We're Canadian, and it's like, oh, gotcha.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wild. From there, you actually then continue on for your last lake. You went to Superior. Now, how did you did that? You went across that big 8-kilometer bridge. What's it called?
Yeah, the Mackinac Bridge. It connects the southern and northern peninsula of Michigan. That's what 8 kilometers long. Really cool to go over it. And yeah, we made our way across that to the Point Iroquois Lighthouse on Lake Superior.
Oh, well, wait a minute. I'm just thinking this. So you finished your trip on the American Lake Superior side.
Yeah.
So that really doesn't count.
Well, unfortunately, it does.
Yeah?
Because because we could see from where we launched where the Edmund Fitzgerald sank.
Well, that's not a reason. It's sick.
It works. There was a nice lighthouse. Shut up.
Yeah, but the Canadian version of Superior is far better than the American. I love Americans. I love Lake Superior. I'm just saying. So, and when you got to Superior, both of you were terrified of it. Derek, you've been to it before. You're well seasoned because you've been there once.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
and
every
then,
single
Sean,
time I've tried to paddle Lake Superior, I've been successful.
Really?
Every
and
time.
Sean, well, tell us your woes.
I've been there multiple times and I've never been able to get on. Every time I take a canoe to Lake Superior, I'm going out paddling and the waves are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
If I was surfing, I would have been in my glory.
When you got there, though, that didn't happen. Your fears
Nope,
were
the
Black
Sean
Dog.
Rowley Lake Superior curse has been lifted. The water was calm. It was beautiful. We boogied on down. We jumped in and got out on that lake. And yeah, just enjoyed it. We paddled out for a ways and we sat there for a while.
We were in there for a while, yeah.
Yeah, we were almost 2 hours there.
The water was extraordinarily clear. I guess you got to credit that to the zebra mussels or something, but it was super clear. You could see at the bottom of the lake, and it was like, wow, this is amazing.
So you actually did really well because you started at midnight in Lake Ontario.
Yeah.
You went to Lake Erie, paddled there for a bit, had a Mexican breakfast, and then you went to Lake Huron and got run over by a bunch of boats and tanker truck not tanker trucks, tanker.
A big tanker came through, yeah.
And then you went across into the United States and had no problem. Went into Lake Superior, but the poorer side of Lake Superior, and you experienced that. But at that time, it was like 7:30 at night. So you think about it, midnight, and then 7:30. So it's less than 24 hours. You did that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we got to Superior at 7:30. We didn't actually leave Superior till after 9.
What were you drinking?
No, we
No,
were
we were
paddling.
paddling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were out there paddling for a couple of hours and it's getting dark. And we're like, yeah, we might, want to get off this lake now.
Yeah.
We didn't want to push our luck too much.
Our saving grace was out paddling because anything on shore was like horseflies. They were like eating us alive. And I swear to God, those horseflies had teeth like this and they were biting my legs off. It was like, it was good to be on the water.
Between the eyes, Kevin.
I think you were getting what's called ankle biters. They're stable flies.
Yeah.
So some questions. So you finish it off at the local brewery. What was it called?
Oh, we crossed the border into Canada. We went to Sault Ste. Marie, the Canadian side, where I hate to say it, but they know how to make beer. We went to Northern Superior Brewing Company. And they've changed since the last time I was there. It was extremely packed, quite the popular Saturday night place.
Oh, yeah.
So we just bought a bunch of beer and
very
left.
loud. Yeah. Yeah, we were going to eat there, but it was like way too loud. It was like we just spent a day paddling in the quiet, and it's like, this music is way too loud. I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm an old man, right? So
yeah, it was going to be a half-hour wait for a table anyway.
Yeah.
So, and we still had to drive home.
Yeah. We brought some back with us. That's what I'm drinking tonight. Is Gitchigumi from Northern Superior Brewing.
Fantastic.
So at this point, by the time we got to the brewery, from Toronto Harbor to the brewery was 22 hours and 15 minutes, 1,162 kilometers.
It's a good thing gas is cheap right now. I'm just saying.
Right? I know. Yeah. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
All right. So what on that entire journey, the epic journey, the legendary journey, the big road trip, what was the most fearful moment of your life during that time?
The border.
The border, and not fearful for me or Sean, but we did come across on Highway 69. I'm coming around a turn, and there's a raccoon. He was like this on the highway. He was like, I think he was pooping on the highway, and unfortunately, I didn't swerve. I zigged when I should have zagged, and we helped that raccoon into the afterlife. Unfortunately.
Whoa! Honestly, you drove almost 1,200 kilometers. You drank good Canadian beer. You actually put your paddle for a good amount of moments in all the Great Lakes, but you ended it by killing a raccoon while it was pooping on the highway. Derek,
we didn't confirm that he was dead. It was a glancing blow. It was like we kind of bumped him.
You've got bad karma the rest of your life.
He shouldn't have been pooping in the middle of the highway. If he wasn't pooping in the middle of the highway, he'd be fine. It was 3 a.m. What am I supposed to do?
That was the most.
That was fearful for the raccoon.
I mean, woo! It's dead.
That's what we're saying. He's just turning, going, no.
It probably had the trots as well.
It probably. Definitely afterwards.
And they couldn't get off the highway because it would have the trots. All right, sorry, we're running out of time for. I haven't upgraded my Zoom. Anyway, so what was the most moment?
$1 gas. A tank of gas for $1.
When I put it on my credit card, and it came in on my credit card statement as $1. And then 3 days later or whatever, it upgraded to what the actual should have been. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if I got a full tank of gas for $1?
Let me get this straight. It wasn't looking at the lights in the city of Toronto on Lake Ontario. It wasn't the sunrise on Lake Erie. It wasn't the aqua blue water of Lake Huron.
It wasn't the rollers, waves of Michigan. If you want an answer, I'd say for me, there's 2 high points for me. The first high point, the biggest high point, is Lake Michigan off that beach, because we battled out into the waves, and then we were playing on the rollers like I was in the air on the bow. It was like boom. Boom. It was so fun. I had a blast. And the other thing was just the amazing view from Toronto Harbor onto the outlook of all the lights and CN Tower and Sky Dome, Rogers Center, whatever you want to call it. It was amazing. So that would be my 2 high points of the whole trip. Would be the water on Michigan, because it was such a challenge. It was so fun. And then the lights off Toronto.
I'd have to go the other end. I'd agree with you with Michigan, especially that big wave we caught coming in, and it just picked up speed, shot us straight up the beach.
Accelerated right into the beach. Ah!
Yeah. And like I said, you listen to the video, we're hooting and hollering, right? And then, Lake Superior, getting on Lake Superior with the Point Erie behind us and everything like that. Beautiful. I've been wanting to get on there for so long to get that view, and the water just going over the horizon because the lake's
it's amazing. That's
an amazing journey, guys. It really is. And for anybody out there that doesn't know these guys, again, Sean and Derek with an R, not John. I've been calling him for years. Or Dave.
Derek without an R.
Dave.
Dave. Like John. Yeah. Fred.
That guy that kills raccoons on the highway while they're pooping. That's what I'm going to call you. And the Paddling Adventures Radio podcast, very legendary one. And you have already put up your story on your podcast.
Yes, we have.
And I'll be writing a thing for Explore Magazine on this. They're really intrigued with it. They're like, these guys did what? And so that's good. And the last question, because we only got a couple minutes left. What's next? How can you beat that? Are you going to kill 2 or 3 raccoons, or maybe even maybe a squirrel or a rabbit, or maybe even a baby deer on the road while it's pooping?
Well, we did see some turkeys. Morning, ladies. Fellas. Derek is not a turkey whisperer.
Oh, yes.
It would not respond to Derek's gobble gobbles.
I tried gobbling at it, and he just ran into the ferns and ran away from me. So he didn't like the way I was talking to him. Apparently, I was speaking in mean turkey language, and he didn't like it. He took off.
Was there any John Denver music played instead of Iron Maiden?
It was totally our intention. We thought, Kevin Callan's was here. We should play on John Denver's, and we forgot.
There's too much blues music and comedy.
Oh, fantastic blues music.
Yeah.
Sean has the perfect channel on Sirius XM.
The blues station.
Yes. 74.
As for what's next, when it comes to road trips, I'm actually heading this fall. I'm supposed to be heading down through Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Georgia to hit up a whole bunch of spots paddling. And there may be kayaks, canoes, and stand-up paddle boards involved.
Cool.
Oh, right on.
And you know what I want to hear about that area? There's a lot of possums down there that poop on the highway.
Woo, bunch of possum pooping. Possible possum
I have a fly-in trip coming up in Wabakimi. So me and 5 other guys, we're doing a fly-in trip into Wabakimi Provincial Park up north. And I'm very excited about that.
I also hear the Canada geese poop while they're flying.
They do. You have to watch out for them.
Yeah. All right. Gotta go. Cheers, everybody. Whiskey Fireside Chat number something. And thanks a lot for Derek and Sean from Paddling Adventures Radio to tell us about their legendary trip from 5 Great Lakes, 1 dead raccoon. Thanks a lot, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.